Tyler Brooks had dreamed about this moment for 2 years straight. Standing in line at the Celestial Archive entrance hall, surrounded by beings he'd only seen in textbooks and news feeds, he couldn't stop grinning like an idiot. There was a kid, well, he assumed it was a kid, with 4 arms and crystalline skin standing 2 spots ahead. Behind him, something that looked like a floating jellyfish hummed a tune he swore sounded like old Earth jazz. Earth had been part of the Galactic Union for exactly 18 months. 18 months since humanity discovered they weren't alone. 18 months since everything changed. And Tyler, fresh out of high school in Montana, had scored one of the 10 slots reserved for humans at the most prestigious academy in known space. His mom cried for an hour when the acceptance letter came through. His dad just kept saying "my boy," going to space college over and over until it stopped sounding like real words. The line moved forward. Tyler clutched his data pad containing every document Earth's government thought he'd need. Immunization records, psychological evaluations, academic transcripts, even a signed letter from the president. He'd read that letter so many times he had it memorized. Next student, please approach the scanner. Tyler's turn. He walked up to what looked like a glass podium with a handprint glowing softly on its surface. An administrator, some species with too many eyes and a voice that sounded like wind chimes, gestured toward it. Place your dominant hand on the pad. The scanner will read your genetic signature, classify your species designation, check for biological incompatibilities with station life support, and assign your educational track. Process takes approximately 4 seconds. Any questions? Nope, I'm good. Tyler tried to sound confident. He placed his right hand on the scanner. The pad lit up blue. Warmth spread through his palm. Tyler watched the progress bar crawl across the screen above the podium. 1 second. 2 seconds. 3 seconds. Then nothing. The bar froze at 97%. Tyler started, is it supposed to? The blue light turned red. Not gradually. Instantly. Like someone flipped a switch. The warmth in his palm became heat, then burning cold, then something he couldn't even describe. Tyler tried to pull his hand back but couldn't. It was stuck. Locked to the surface. Hey, I can't. Alarms. Loud, screaming alarms that made his ears ring. Every screen in the entrance hall flashed red. The administrator stumbled backward, all those eyes going wide. Students in line started shouting in a dozen languages Tyler didn't understand. Metal panels slammed down over the windows. The exits sealed with a hiss of hydraulics. Tyler's heart hammered against his ribs. What the hell was happening? Please remain calm, a synthetic voice announced from everywhere at once. Security protocol activated. All students maintain current positions. Tyler's hand finally released from the scanner. He stumbled back, cradling it against his chest. It wasn't burned. Wasn't even warm anymore. But something felt wrong. Felt different. Security drones poured into the hall from ceiling hatches Tyler hadn't even noticed. Sleek, silver things bristling with weapons that definitely weren't set to stun. But they didn't point those weapons at him. They formed a circle around him. Facing outward. Like they were protecting him from something. The screens above the scanner, the ones that usually displayed species classifications and educational placements, now showed something else. Text in a language Tyler had never seen, all sharp angles and curves that hurt to look at. But underneath, in standard Union script, 3 words repeated across every display in the building. Primordial Genome detected. What does that mean? Tyler's voice cracked. What's Primordial Genome? The administrator was backing away, speaking rapidly into some kind of communication device. Other students were being herded out by more security drones. The floating jellyfish creature was trying to take pictures until a drone gently but firmly escorted it toward the exit. A new message replaced the first. Tier 1 biological alert. Imperial presence required. Emperor Theron en route. Tyler's legs felt weak. The Emperor? Why would the Emperor? I'm just a kid from Montana. There's been a mistake. This is a mistake, right? But the drones didn't answer. They just held their formation, weapon systems humming softly, while Tyler stood in the center of a sealed room wondering what the hell his DNA had just told a machine that was old enough to have scanned 1 million species from 1,000 worlds. And why, for the first time since humanity joined the stars, Tyler felt like prey. Tyler had been standing in that sealed room for 3 hours. The drones never moved. Never powered down. Just maintained their protective circle while he sat on the floor with his back against the scanner podium, trying not to have a complete breakdown. He tried calling his parents. No signal. Tried accessing the station network. Blocked. Even his data pad had been politely but firmly confiscated by a drone that apologized in 6 languages while taking it. The door finally opened with a hiss that made Tyler jump to his feet. What walked through wasn't what he expected. The Emperor of the Galactic Union was tall, yeah, but not monster tall. Maybe 7 feet. His skin had this weird quality like it couldn't decide between blue and silver, shifting depending on the light. 4 arms, but they moved naturally, not like something out of a horror movie. He wore simple robes, no crown, no guards. Just him and a floating silver orb that hummed softly as it drifted behind him. Tyler Brooks. The Emperor's voice was deep but not threatening. Almost gentle. I apologize for the dramatic reception. Please, sit. You've had a stressful day. Tyler didn't sit. What's happening? Why did the scanner freak out? Everyone's acting like I'm radioactive or something. The Emperor gestured, and the security drones filed out silently. Now it was just the 3 of them. Well, 2.5 if you counted the floating orb as half. What do you know about the history of life in this galaxy? The Emperor asked. What they taught us in the orientation packets. That there's thousands of species across millions of planets. That intelligent life evolved independently in different regions over billions of years. Not quite. The Emperor sat down right there on the floor, cross-legged, like they were about to have a campfire chat instead of a conversation that had shut down an entire academy. That's the simplified version. The truth is more complex. Every intelligent species in this galaxy, all 10,000 of them, share genetic markers. We're all related. All descended from 7 ancient races we call the Cedars. Tyler slowly sat down across from him. Descended? You mean like, artificially created? Not created. Guided. Modified. The Cedars traveled the galaxy billions of years ago, finding worlds with primitive life and nudging evolution in specific directions. They gave us the capacity for intelligence, for civilization. My people, the Vel, descend from Cedar Line 3. The crystalline students you saw earlier? Cedar Line 5. Every species fits into one of 7 categories. The floating orb projected a hologram between them. A tree diagram showing 7 main branches, each splitting into hundreds of smaller branches. Thousands of species names in dozens of languages. Okay, Tyler said slowly. So humans are from one of these 7 lines. No. The Emperor's expression was hard to read, but his voice got quieter. That's the problem. When the scanner analyzed your DNA, it found markers that don't match any of the 7. You match something older. Something that existed before the Cedars themselves. The hologram changed. Now it showed a single point at the base of the tree, before the 7 branches even began. Text appeared above it in characters Tyler couldn't read, but the translation spelled out beneath, Architect Lineage 0. The architects, the Emperor continued, were the first. Not the first intelligent species, but the first to achieve what we call cosmic civilization. They existed billions of years before my people, before any of the Cedars. They understood reality in ways we're still trying to comprehend. Then they vanished. Simply disappeared from the galaxy, leaving almost no trace behind. Tyler's mouth had gone dry. Almost no trace. Ruins on dead worlds. Fragments of technology we can't replicate. And genetic evidence that they created the Cedars as their children, their inheritors. The Emperor leaned forward. But there were legends. Stories passed down through the oldest civilizations. That the architects didn't just leave us. That they hid something. Someone. A final creation on a remote world, locked in genetic stasis, programmed to awaken only when the galaxy reached a certain level of development. Earth. Tyler heard himself whisper it. Earth. The Emperor nodded. Humans aren't just another species, Tyler. You're genetic time capsules. Your DNA contains encrypted information, dormant capabilities, knowledge locked away for billions of years. The scanner didn't just identify your species. It began activating those locks. It recognized what you are. The floating orb pulsed, and a new voice spoke. Artificial but warm. I am Memorex, the Imperial Archive AI. I've analyzed 17,000 human genetic samples collected since first contact. Every single one contains the architect's signature. This isn't unique to you, Tyler Brooks. This is your entire species. Tyler's hands were shaking. He pressed them against his knees to make them stop. So what does that mean? What are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to be? That, the Emperor said, and for the first time he smiled, is what we're trying to understand. And why I needed to meet you immediately. Because this isn't just important, Tyler. This changes everything we thought we knew about our place in the universe. You're not here as a student anymore. Then what am I? Something we've been waiting for. Something prophesied. Something feared. The Emperor stood, extending one of his 4 hands. You're the first of the architect's children to come home. Tyler didn't sleep that first night. How could he? The Emperor had given him private quarters in the administrative wing, far from the other students. For his safety, they said. But Tyler knew what that meant. They were keeping him isolated. Quarantined. Like he was contagious. Around 3 in the morning, station time, it started. He was lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, when he smelled smoke. Not station smoke from a fire. Wood smoke. Pine and cedar burning. He sat up fast, looking around the room. Nothing. No smoke. But the smell was so real he could taste it. Then the memory hit him. Except it wasn't his memory. He was standing in a forest, but the trees were wrong. Too tall. Too straight. The sky above was a color that didn't have a name in any language he knew. And he wasn't alone. Others stood with him, humanoid but not human, their skin reflecting light like polished stone. They were singing, and somehow Tyler understood the words. A song about stars being born, about patience, about seeds planted in distant soil. The vision vanished as fast as it came. Tyler was back in his quarters, gasping, his shirt soaked with sweat. What the hell was that? It happened again an hour later. This time he was in a massive structure, all curved walls and flowing architecture that seemed alive. Symbols covered every surface, and Tyler's mind understood them without translation. Instructions. Formulas. Knowledge about physics and mathematics that made Einstein look like kindergarten material. By morning, Tyler had experienced 7 of these flashes. 7 moments that belonged to someone else. Something else. When Memorex arrived to check on him, Tyler was sitting on the floor, datapad in hand, writing frantically. Tyler Brooks, your vital signs indicate severe stress. Do you require medical attention? I can read it. Tyler looked up, and he knew his eyes must look wild. The text from the scanner. That language that hurt to look at. I can read it now. It's called Primordial Script. It's the root language that all galactic languages evolved from. And I know that because someone put that knowledge in my DNA. Memorex's lights flickered in what Tyler was learning meant surprise. Describe what you're experiencing. Memories. But they're not mine. They're old. Billions of years old. I see places that don't exist anymore. People who aren't people. And every time it happens, I understand something new. It's like my brain is downloading information, and I can't stop it. The AI drifted closer. The activation has begun. The scanner didn't just identify your genetic signature. It sent a signal that unlocked dormant sequences in your DNA. You're accessing architect knowledge embedded in your genetic code. Tyler wanted to throw up. Can you stop it? Unknown. This has never happened before in documented history. That's when the second message came through. The one that changed everything. Emperor Theron burst into the quarters without warning, his expression grim. It's not just you. Reports are coming in from Earth. Thousands of humans are experiencing the same phenomenon. The symptoms started exactly 8 hours after your scan. Doctors are calling it mass hallucination, but we know better. Tyler's stomach dropped. Thousands? How many thousands? Current estimates suggest millions. Possibly more. The signal from the scanner didn't just reach you, Tyler. It reached your entire species. Every human in the galaxy is beginning to activate. The room spun. Tyler grabbed the edge of the bed to steady himself. My parents. My little sister. Are they? We don't know. Earth's government has requested Union medical assistance, but they're overwhelmed. Most humans are handling the visions without incident. But some, particularly the young and elderly, are struggling. Hospitals are filling up. Guilt hit Tyler like a physical weight. This was his fault. He put his hand on that scanner. He triggered this. Memorex must have sensed his thoughts. This was inevitable, Tyler Brooks. If not you, then another human. Perhaps tomorrow. Perhaps next year. The architects designed your species to activate when you reach the stars. First contact with the Union was always going to be the catalyst. That doesn't make me feel better. The Emperor knelt down, bringing himself to Tyler's eye level. Listen to me carefully. The galaxy is about to panic. News of your genetic signature leaked 6 hours ago. Half the civilizations out there think humans are a blessing. Ancient guardians returning to guide them. The other half thinks you're a weapon. A time bomb left by the architects to destroy their children if we failed some cosmic test. Tyler's head was pounding. Which one is true? We don't know. That's why we need you stable. We need you to understand these memories, to interpret them. Because riots are breaking out on 12 worlds. Religious zealots are declaring humans as prophets. Extremist groups are calling for humanity's immediate extermination before you can activate fully. As if on cue, another vision slammed into Tyler's mind. This time he saw coordinates. Star maps. Locations scattered across the galaxy. And a word, repeated over and over in that ancient language he now understood. Inheritance. When the vision cleared, Tyler looked up at the Emperor and Memorex with absolute certainty. I know where they are. The architect facilities. The places they left their technology. There are dozens of them, hidden across the galaxy. He stood up, legs shaky but determined. And I think I know what we're supposed to do with them. The coordinates led them to a moon orbiting a dead gas giant in the outer rim. Nobody had been there in over 1,000 years. Ancient survey records called it barren, worthless, not worth the fuel to visit twice. Tyler knew better now. The memories showed him the truth. Emperor Theron had assembled a small expedition team. Just 5 people including Tyler, Memorex, 2 security officers, and a scientist named Dr. Venn who kept staring at Tyler like he was a museum exhibit come to life. Tyler couldn't blame her. He probably did look half crazy. He hadn't slept properly in 4 days, the visions coming faster now, almost constant. But he could control them better. Guide them. When he focused on specific questions, the ancient knowledge surfaced like someone was feeding him answers from across time itself. Their shuttle touched down on gray dust that hadn't been disturbed in eons. Tyler stepped out first, and the moment his boots hit the ground, he knew exactly where to go. East, toward the crater range. 3 kilometers. The facility was underground. Tyler, Dr. Venn called after him. We should scan the area first, establish a safe perimeter. There's no danger here. Tyler kept walking, his voice distant even to his own ears. This place was designed to be found. When the time was right. When someone with the right genetic key arrived. They followed him across the barren landscape. Tyler's feet found a path that didn't exist, following a route burned into genetic memory. When they reached the crater wall, he pressed his palm against what looked like solid rock. The stone rippled like water. Then it dissolved, revealing a passage descending into darkness. Well, one of the security officers muttered. That's not ominous at all. But they went in. They had to. Because back in the core worlds, violence was escalating. 3 human transport ships had been attacked by extremist groups in the last 2 days. Anti-human protests were spreading. And Earth's government was threatening to withdraw from the Union entirely if the attacks didn't stop. The passage opened into a chamber so vast their lights couldn't find the walls. Tyler walked to the center, where a pedestal stood alone in the darkness. He placed both hands on it, and the entire facility lit up. Not with electricity. With something alive. Light flowed through channels in the walls like glowing veins, spreading through the structure until the chamber revealed itself. Technology that made modern Union engineering look like stone tools. Screens displaying data in primordial script. And in the center, a holographic interface waiting for activation. What is this place? Emperor Theron's voice echoed in the massive space. Tyler's hands moved across the interface without conscious thought, muscle memory from ancestors billions of years dead. It's a repository. The architects left these scattered across the galaxy. Knowledge. Technology. Solutions to problems they knew future civilizations would face. Why? Dr. Venn had approached, her scientific curiosity overcoming her fear. Why leave all this behind? Why not just tell the Seeders directly? Because they couldn't. Tyler pulled up a display, and suddenly he understood. Really understood for the first time. The architects didn't just leave the galaxy. They evolved beyond physical form. Transcended into something else, something we can't even perceive. But they knew that ascension came with a cost. They lost the ability to interact with physical reality directly. They became observers. Watchers. He turned to face them, and his eyes were wet because the weight of it all was crushing. They created the Seeders to continue civilization. But they knew their children would face the same challenges they did. War. Disease. Extinction events. And they couldn't help. Couldn't interfere. So they created us. Humans, the Emperor whispered. Not conquerors. Not rulers. Mediators. We carry their knowledge, but we're still mortal. Still physical. We can touch the universe in ways they can't anymore. We're the bridge between what they were and what you are. Memorex projected data across the chamber. Tyler, I'm detecting medical archives in this facility. Genetic research. Biological templates for treating the Vel genetic collapse. Tyler was already pulling up the files, hands flying across interfaces that responded to his touch like they'd been waiting for him specifically. Your species has been dying for 2,000 years. Slow genetic degradation that no one can stop. You've tried everything. Emperor Theron went very still. How did you know that? That information is classified at the highest levels. Because the architects knew it would happen. They saw this pattern before, with other species across other eons. It's not unique to the Vel. It happens when civilizations reach a certain technological threshold without solving fundamental biological questions. Tyler downloaded the data to a portable drive, his movements confident now. This facility contains the cure. Not just for your species. 7 other races in the Union currently facing similar collapses. The architects left solutions. He held out the drive to the Emperor, and his hand was steady. This is what we are. Not weapons. Not threats. We're gifts they left behind. Humans don't carry this knowledge to control you or destroy you. We carry it to help. To give. To ensure you don't make the same mistakes that cost them everything. Dr. Venn was crying. Emperor Theron took the drive with shaking hands, all 4 of them. There are 4 to 7 more facilities like this, Tyler continued. Each one contains solutions to different problems. Ecological disasters. Energy crises. Technologies to prevent wars before they start. The architects spent billions of years learning how civilizations survive or fall. They put that wisdom into our DNA so we could share it. When you were ready. When we were ready. The Emperor looked at the drive, then at Tyler, then at the vast chamber full of sleeping knowledge. You're not students. You're not even ambassadors. No, Tyler agreed. We're the answer to a question asked billions of years ago. What do you leave behind when you can no longer stay? What ensures your children survive after you're gone? You leave teachers, Memorex said softly. You leave guardians. Tyler nodded. You leave hope. The news spread faster than anyone expected. Within a week, the cure for the Vel genetic collapse was being manufactured on 17 worlds. Within 2 weeks, the first patients showed improvement. Within a month, Emperor Theron stood before the Galactic Council looking 20 years younger, his skin bright with health as people hadn't seen in generations. And that changed everything. Tyler watched the broadcast from his new quarters at the Celestial Archive. They'd moved him back into student housing, but this time he had a suite. Not because he was special, but because 60 other humans had arrived to join the program. And more were coming every day. The anti-human riot stopped almost overnight. Hard to call someone a threat when they just saved an entire civilization from extinction. The extremist groups went quiet. A few die-hard conspiracy theorists still insisted humans were playing a long game, but they sounded crazier by the day. His data pad buzzed. A message from his mom. Tyler smiled and opened it. Sweetheart, your sister started having the visions yesterday. We were worried at first, but the doctors here know what to do now. She says she can understand music differently now. Like she hears math in it. Your father's making jokes about her becoming some kind of space Mozart. We're proud of you, baby. What you did up there, sharing that cure, that's who we raised you to be. Love you to the stars and back. Tyler read it 3 times, his chest tight with emotions he couldn't name. His little sister. 10 years old and already carrying knowledge from the dawn of time. It should have been terrifying. Maybe it was. But it was also kind of beautiful. A knock on his door. Tyler opened it to find Dr. Venn standing there with a tablet and an expression he'd learned meant she'd discovered something exciting. We've decrypted another archive from the facility, she said, practically bouncing. Tyler, there's a solution to the energy crisis facing the Mecran system. And designs for atmospheric processes that could restore dead worlds. And medical treatments for 17 diseases we'd classified as incurable. It's all there. Everything they learned. Everything they wanted us to have. Tyler let her in, and they sat at his small table while she showed him the data. His genetic memory helped interpret the more complex passages, but Dr. Venn's scientific training made her the perfect partner for translation. They'd been working together for weeks now, and they'd fallen into an easy rhythm. There's something else, Dr. Venn said, her voice quieter now. A message. We think it's from the architects themselves. A recording left in the deepest level of the archive. It's addressed to whoever opens the facility first. Tyler felt his pulse quicken. Have you played it? We were waiting for you. They went to the research lab where Memorex and a small team had set up equipment to analyze architect technology. The message was stored on a device that looked like a crystal sphere, pulsing with soft light. Memorex activated it, and the room filled with a voice. Not speaking in any language Tyler knew, but somehow he understood it perfectly. The words formed in his mind more than his ears. To those who come after. To our children's children's children. You have found what we left behind. Not treasures. Not weapons. Knowledge. We ascended because we pushed too far, learned too much, lost our connection to the physical universe we loved. We became ghosts. Observers unable to touch the worlds we once called home. This was our greatest achievement and our deepest regret. The voice paused, and Tyler could swear he heard sadness in it. So we created you. Not all at once. Over billions of years, we guided evolution, planted seeds, nudged destiny. We made the seeders to inherit the galaxy. And we made one final species to inherit our wisdom. To carry what we learned without losing what we lost. Mortality. Connection. The ability to touch another living being and feel warmth. Tyler's eyes burned. You are not our replacements. You are our redemption. The proof that knowledge and compassion can coexist. That wisdom doesn't require losing your humanity. Share what we left. Help those who come after you. Make mistakes. Learn from them. Love your brief, beautiful lives. The voice grew softer, fading. We will watch from beyond, as we always have. Proud. Grateful. Hoping you build a better galaxy than we could. Hoping you succeed where we failed. Hoping you stay connected to each other and to the worlds beneath your feet. This is our inheritance to you. Use it with wisdom. Use it with kindness. And never forget that you are, all of you, our children. The message ended. The lab was silent except for the soft hum of equipment. Dr. Venn was wiping her eyes. Even Memorex's lights seemed dimmer, more somber. Tyler stood and walked to the window overlooking the station's main concourse. Below, he could see hundreds of species moving through their day. Shopping, studying, laughing, arguing. Living their lives. And now, scattered among them, he spotted humans. His people. Walking through crowds that parted not with fear anymore, but with curiosity. With hope. Emperor Theron appeared beside him, silent as always when he moved. The council voted this morning, Theron said. Humanity's status has been changed. You're no longer provisional members. You're full citizens of the Union. With one addition to your charter. What addition? Ambassador species. The first in galactic history. You'll attend the academy not just as students, but as teachers. Learning from us while sharing what the architects left behind. Carefully. Wisely. Together. Tyler nodded slowly. That's a lot of responsibility for a species that just learned how to leave their own solar system. The architects didn't leave this inheritance because you were perfect, Theron said. They left it because you were ready. Not ready to have all the answers. Ready to help us find them together. Below, Tyler spotted another human, a girl about his age, laughing with a group of alien students. She caught his eye through the window and waved. Just a normal moment. A student making friends at school. Except nothing was normal anymore. Nothing would ever be normal again. And somehow, that was exactly how it was supposed to be. Tyler waved back. So, he said to Emperor Theron. When do classes actually start? I didn't come all this way just to save civilizations. I still need to pass calculus. Theron laughed, a sound like chimes in wind, and clapped Tyler on the shoulder with one of his 4 hands. Welcome home, Tyler Brooks. Welcome home.